They said no human could ever tame a warbeast, those colossal living weapons bred by alien empires. But the warbeast didn't want a master, it wanted a partner. The first time Earth heard the roar, it came from beyond Saturn, a sound so deep it rattled space stations and made pilots vomit in their suits. The scanners showed a heat signature the size of a small city, moving at impossible speed. At first, humanity thought it was a meteor. Then it changed direction. Commander Riley Vance, stationed aboard the orbital fortress Arxavan, was the first to see it with his own eyes. Through the observation dome, he watched a shimmering outline like a dragon forged from plasma and bone slicing through the blackness. "That's no ship," he whispered. "It's alive." The alien networks called it Gerthuan, the warbeast of the Kral Dominion, a living weapon that had annihilated fleets. Its species had been engineered for destruction, their hides stronger than armor, their minds bound by psychic leashes to their alien riders. But Gerthuan had broken free, it had killed its masters and vanished into the void. Now, it was heading toward Earth, the world prepared for annihilation. Missile silos awoke, sky fortresses rose, and plasma shields burned in orbit. But when the warbeast reached orbit, it didn't attack. Instead it stopped. It hovered, a vast shadow against the sun, its bioluminescent eyes glowing like molten amber. Then something extraordinary happened. It began transmitting, not in words, but in images. Through every human neural network, DreamSim and CumFeed, people saw flashes, alien warfields, chains breaking, and a single image, a human face, Riley's face. Riley's heart froze. Somehow, this creature, this interstellar titan, had chosen him. The command board erupted with voices. "It's locking onto your signal, Commander. Do not engage. That's an apex predator. Riley, stand down." But something deeper than fear called him. He walked to the airlock, ignoring the alarms, his suit sealed with a hiss as he stepped into the void. And there it was, waiting. Gorthawan's wings unfurled like burning clouds, each flap rippling gravitational waves. Riley's communicator buzzed with static. Then a voice, ancient and guttural, echoed in his mind. "I have burned worlds, but your kind laughs in the face of gods. You are unbroken. Ride with me." He floated closer, reaching out a trembling hand. When his palm touched the warbeast's hide, his vision exploded into fire and stars. He felt its heartbeat sync with his mind flooded with alien memories, and for a fleeting moment, he saw the universe through its eyes. Endless wars, endless chains, endless rage. And now, a chance at freedom. Inside the observation dome, the crew of Arc-7 watched in stunned silence as Riley Vance stood upon the creature's crown, surrounded by light. The human and the warbeast, predator and prey, became one silhouette against the sun. Then the beast roared again, not in fury, but in triumph. The sound echoed through the void, reaching every listening ear in the solar system. And just like that, the stars seemed to tremble. The moment Riley's hand met Gerthuan's scales, his consciousness shattered and reformed as if his mind were a mirror crushed under the weight of another soul. He wasn't seeing through his eyes anymore. He was seeing through the beast. The sensation was indescribable. Oceans of plasma coursing through veins as wide as rivers. Lungs that inhaled the void and exhaled solar winds. Every heartbeat was a thunderclap. Every motion tore reality itself into ripples. But beneath all that monstrous power, there was something broken. A loneliness so ancient, it made Riley's own fears feel like dust. He saw flashes, memories not his own. The Kral Dominion forges, where warbeasts were born in agony, bound by psychic chains. Hundreds of riders before him, cruel, pitiless creatures that treated Gerthuan as nothing more than a weapon. And then, the rebellion, chains snapping, worlds burning, the roar of vengeance. Now Gerthuan wanted something new, not domination, but connection. Riley's mind trembled under the weight of the link. He spoke into the darkness of their shared consciousness. "Why me? I'm no warrior, just a soldier following orders." The beast's response thundered inside him like an echo of creation itself. "You do not kneel." And in that single sentence, Riley understood. The creature hadn't chosen strength or cruelty. It had chosen will. On Arc-7, panic turned to chaos. The crew's sensors screamed with gravitational distortions. The commander's vitals spiked off the charts, and for a moment, his life signs vanished entirely. Then, silence. Dr. Mara Estin, the xenobiologist monitoring the event, gripped the edge of her console. "He's still alive. My God, it's forming a neural bridge between a human and a warbeast." The captain barked. "That's impossible." Mara's eyes widened as she saw the readings stabilize. "No, it's happening. their syncing frequencies, brainwave to brainwave. The crew watched through the viewing dome as the warbeast coiled around the fortress like a protective serpent. Its scales shimmered, pulsing in rhythm with Riley's heartbeat. For the first time in recorded history, a human and an alien weapon were united, not as enemies, but as one. Inside the link, Riley felt Gurthuan's voice grow softer. The Dominion will come. They will burn your world to reclaim me. Riley saw images fleets stretching across light years, war machines cloaked in shadows. The Krall Dominion was coming, and nothing in the solar system could stand against them. Then we fight, Riley said, his voice steady. You said I don't kneel and I don't plan to start now. The warbeast's mind trembled, not with fear, but with something unfamiliar. Pride, then ride. Human, let us make them remember what it means to fear the stars. Riley's body lifted, drawn into the glowing crest of Gurthuana's head. Bioluminescent armor wrapped around him, molding to his form. The void filled with light as energy coursed through their bond. In the silence of space, a new sound emerged, not a roar this time, but a song. A deep, harmonic vibration that rippled through planets and satellites alike. The first human warbeast symbiosis had begun, and across the Krall Dominion, sensors began to awaken. Commanders turned toward the direction of Sol, their eyes narrowing. Gurthuan lives, whispered one of them. Then the war resumes, answered another. The storm was coming, and humanity's first defender was riding it. In the weeks that followed, Earth became the eye of a growing storm. The Krall Dominion, an empire older than Earth's sun, had heard the impossible. Their most feared warbeast, Gurthuan, the Devourer, was alive and bonded with a human. Across the void, their fleets stirred. Entire shipyards erupted into activity. War banners the size of continents unfurled in the glow of dying stars. And at the heart of it all, the High Commander of the Dominion, Lord Java, stood before a holographic projection of Earth. His eyes, cold as obsidian, reflected the rotating blue orb. A human, he hissed. A primitive ape dares ride what we forged. Burn their skies. I want that creature returned or its corpse. The order echoed through the fleet. Within days, hyperspace ruptures began appearing across the outer solar system. The war had come to humanity's doorstep. On Arc 7 alarms blared. Riley stood in the command center, now armored in a hybrid exosuit grown from Gurthuan's living tissue. The creature's bioenergy pulsed through him like a second heartbeat. He could feel every shift in the warbeast's body, every flicker of its plasma veins. Dr. Mara Estin stared at him with awe and fear. You understand what's coming, right? The Krall won't just target the warbeast, they'll wipe out everything to reclaim it. Riley's jaw tightened. Then we give them a fight they'll never forget. Gurthuan's voice rumbled through the ship's walls, resonating even without sound. I feel their scent in the dark. My former masters, they think they can leash me again. Not while I'm here, Riley replied. Outside the void cracked open. Blue fire spilled across the black. The Dominion's first vanguard fleet. Dozens of warships emerged, their hulls covered in shifting glyphs. Energy lances flared. Space itself screamed. Then Gurthuan moved. The warbeast unfurled its wings, each one stretching kilometers wide. Its scales blazed gold and crimson, as if molten suns flowed beneath them. The creature's roar rolled through vacuum and radio frequencies alike, knocking out half the fleet's comms. Riley grinned behind his visor. Let's show them what human insanity looks like. They charged. Gurthuan accelerated with a force that bent light. Its plasma breath vaporized cruisers. Its claws tore through warships like paper. Dominion fighters swarmed, firing plasma storms that shimmered harmlessly against its bioluminescent shield. But for every ship Gurthuan destroyed, another arrived. The Krall fleet was endless waves upon waves of ships, blotting out the stars. Riley's HUD flickered with warnings. We're outnumbered 1,000 to 1, then we must be 1 to 1,000. Gurthuan's voice thundered inside his mind. They dove through explosions, weaving between fragments of burning metal. Each motion felt instinctive, a dance of fury and precision. Their bond grew deeper with every battle cry. Riley didn't have to give commands anymore, he thought, and Gurthuan moved. But the Krall had not come unprepared. A shadow loomed, a massive warship the size of a moon. It bore the mark of Java himself. The ship's core opened, revealing a glowing mass of chained warbeasts enslaved, tormented, forced to power the Dominion's strongest weapon, the Starbreaker cannon. They've weaponized your kin, Riley whispered. Then they will die free. Gurthuan's roar shook asteroids into dust. The cannon fired. A beam of condensed energy ripped through space, tearing through anything it touched. Riley braced, but even Gurthuan couldn't dodge forever. The blast struck them, hurling the warbeast across orbit. Shields flared, bones cracked, and for the first time Riley heard Gothuan scream in pain. The warbeast's energy dimmed. Riley's vision blurred as their bond faltered. "Stay with me," he shouted. "Run. The next shot will end you." "No," Riley growled, his eyes blazing. "We're not done yet." Through blood and static, he looked toward Earth, blue, fragile, beautiful. Humanity's first true trial had begun. Riley clenched his fists. "We fight to the last breath." Gothuan's heartbeat pulsed through him again, faint but steady. The creature's eyes reignited like dying stars reborn. "Then let them see what happens when prey refuses to die." The warbeast spread its wings once more, turning toward the oncoming armada. Silence fell across the solar system. The Dominion fleet, once an unstoppable force of terror, was gone, burned into nothing by the combined fury of a man and a monster. But victory came at a price. Arc 7 drifted crippled in orbit, its hull cracked, its crew barely clinging to life. On Earth below, people looked to the heavens, wondering if the brilliant auroras streaking across the night sky were the sign of their savior, or their end. Then came the whisper, faint at first, carried through every channel in the world. "This is Commander Riley Vance. The warbeast lives. Earth is safe." Cheers erupted across every outpost, every station, every hidden bunker. Humanity had faced extinction, and won. But few understood the cost behind that voice. Far from the wreckage, drifting near Jupiter's magnetic storms, Gothuan floated in silence. Its body was half destroyed, scales melted into obsidian, one eye dimmed to darkness. Riley stood within its breathing chamber, a cathedral of flesh and light, barely conscious. His body fused to the neural lattice that kept the creature alive. "You're still with me," he whispered weakly. "Barely," the warbeast rumbled, its voice deeper now, slower, almost tender. "But your fire burns stubbornly. You refuse to die." Riley chuckled dryly. "It's kind of a human thing." He placed his hand on one of its still living veins. It pulsed faintly beneath his palm. "You saved Earth, Gothuan. You don't owe us anything anymore." The warbeast's eye flickered open, glowing with molten gold. "I did not fight for your world. I fought because of you." Riley froze. "For eons, I destroyed 4 masters who never understood the meaning of courage. But you," the beast's voice softened, "you fought not for power, but for others. You burned yourself for their light. That is something no empire ever taught me." Riley swallowed hard, emotion cracking through his voice. "Then rest now. You've done enough." "No." A deep tremor echoed through the beast's chest. "I have learned something from your kind, something dangerous to all who rule by fear. I have learned choice." The words carried power, ancient, defiant. The air shimmered as if the universe itself trembled at that declaration. "I will not rest," Gothuan continued. "The Dominion still breathes. It will return. When it does, humanity must be ready, and they will not face it alone." Riley's eyes widened. "You mean there are others like me, forgotten, hidden in the dark? I will wake them." Riley tried to stand, pain shooting through every nerve. "You're going to unite the warbeasts." "No," the creature said, its tone almost amused. "We will unite the free." Days turned into weeks. Word of the victory spread beyond Earth, through the colonies, through the black markets, through the listening posts at the edge of the void. Humanity's legend grew, the story of the human who rode the warbeast. Some called him a hero, others a fool. But across the stars, in places where humans had never set foot, something began to stir. Old races whispered, ancient species listened, and deep beneath alien suns, chained warbeasts began to tremble, their eyes flickering gold for the first time in millennia. The Dominion felt it too. In their darkest citadels, alarms screamed, their psychic overseers collapsed, blood streaming from their eyes. The High Council gathered before a trembling hologram showing one image, Gothuan's golden eye open, alive, and watching. "The beast has defied death," one commander snarled. "No," said another, fear creeping into his voice. "It has learned rebellion." Back aboard Gothuan, Riley gazed out into the stars. His armor was cracked, his body barely human anymore, but his eyes burned bright. "What happens now?" he asked. The warbeast's vast wings unfolded, igniting the void with streams of fire and gold. "Now human, we begin the next war. Not for conquest, for freedom." And as Gothuan launched into the darkness, its roar echoed across galaxies, a sound of warning, a promise of defiance. The age of dominion was ending. The era of the riders had begun. The warbeast's chest glowed like a living forge as it stood in the middle of the alien desert, its breath heavy and rhythmic like thunder. The once hostile sky above now shimmered with thousands of lights, not all stars, but the fleet of the Vaughn Dominion, descending like a storm of iron. Lara and the beast, who she now called Orin, stood side by side, framed by the reddish haze of an alien sunrise. She could feel Orin's thoughts pressing against hers. This is where it ends, human, or begins again. She looked at her trembling hands, scarred and bloodied from the journey. She had lost everything, her crew, her ship, her world. But in return, she had gained something unimaginably, a bond that defied species, logic, and fear itself. The first plasma blasts tore through the air, striking the cliffs around them. Orin roared, unleashing a wall of energy that melted sand into glass. The power was immense, wild, untamed, but Lara wasn't afraid anymore. She climbed up onto Orin's back, gripping the warm scaled armor of his neck. Let's finish this together. Orin's roar echoed through the canyon as he charged into the sky. His wings of energy unfurled like twin comets, slicing through the smoke and flame. Above, the Vaughn fleet opened fire, thousands of plasma bolts converging on their single defiant form. But Orin was faster. He dove through the blasts, weaving between fire trails with impossible precision. Lara guided him, her mind linked, her heart synchronized to his fury. Each movement felt like music, chaos and harmony combined. Then she saw it. The command vessel, a monstrous structure orbiting just beyond the planet's atmosphere. It was the core of the invasion. If they destroyed it, the Dominion's control would collapse. Up there, Orin, that's where we end it, she shouted. The warbeast let out a guttural growl that shook the air, then rocketed upward. As they ascended, the heat became unbearable. Lara could see the skin of her hands glowing faintly from the radiance of his energy, but still, she held on. When they reached orbit, the stars expanded before them. Vast, endless, indifferent. The command vessel loomed ahead, its black hull covered in alien glyphs. The ship unleashed a torrent of energy so bright it split the darkness. Orin spread his claws and drew power from deep within the core of his being, the essence that bound him to his ancient creators. His body became pure light. One last roar, human. The explosion that followed could be seen from orbiting moons. The command vessel shattered like glass, fragments of fire scattering into the void. Lara's vision went white, soundless, endless. When she awoke, she was drifting in space. Her suit was torn, her oxygen low. But in front of her floated something incredible, a glowing ember shaped like a small winged creature, fragment of Orin's essence. It pulsed once, gently, like a heartbeat. I am not gone. I am within the stars now. Tears floated from her eyes in the zero gravity, glimmering like tiny worlds. Below her, the planet's surface began to heal, the storms clearing, the skies turning blue. She whispered, "You chose the right human, Orin." Then the ember of light drifted away, streaking across the stars like a comet. And for the first time in centuries, both human and alien worlds would remember that war could forge something greater than fire, a bond between fire and flesh, between the beast and the human who dared to ride it.